In this tutorial, we're looking at finding the midpoint of the linear line. Given that we have two coordinate points A and B, in this diagram that midpoint is given by P. So what we're looking to find is P, given that it's a coordinate point x, y. We just want to know what is x, what is y, in terms of x1, y1, and x2, y2. We are going to begin with the horizontal shift, which is our x value. What we know is that this is x1 and this is x2, where the midpoint is given by x. Now the distance between x1 and x and the distance between x and x2 is exactly the same. Let's label that D1. In order to find out what x is equal to, what we need to do is first find out what is D1. Alright, so we need a calculation for D1. D1 is going to be given by finding out the distance between x2 and x1 and then dividing that by 2. So we have x2 minus x1 divided by 2. That will give us D1. Now that's not the value for x, that's how far past x1 we have to go to get x. So what we need to do is add to this x1. We now need to simplify this equation, and we can do this by turning that x1 into a fraction with a denominator of 2. When we have a denominator of 2, we can add our numerators, which allows us to simplify this down to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So the x portion of the coordinate is given by that. We're going to do the same now, but for the y coordinate, or the y portion of the coordinate, and we're going to use exactly the same method. So what we do know is that the distance between y1 and y is the same as the distance between y2 and y. Let's label this as D2. Now trying to find that value of y, we do exactly the same process as what we've done for x. We find out what is D2 and we add that onto y1. Now D2 is just going to be the difference between y2 and y1 divided by 2. So y2 minus y1 divided by 2, and then the plus the y1 on the end of that. Again, we are going to have to convert this equation into a simpler form, and we'll do this by converting that y1 into a fraction with a denominator of 2. Then we can add our numerators, which will allow us to simplify it down. This gives us an expression for y, which is y1 plus y2 divided by 2. If we substitute that in to P for x and y, we'll get that coordinate point in the terms of x1, x2, y1, and y2 will allow you to calculate the midpoint of a linear line given two coordinate points, x1, y1, and x2, y2.